Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to my prophecy page. Today's reading comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 21. I'm reading this from the Passion Translation. Beginning at verse 34, it says, "Be careful that you never allow your hearts to grow cold. Be careful that you're not caught off guard, or your hearts will be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and the worries of this life, and that day will come upon you suddenly like a trap. Don't let me come and find you drunk or living carelessly like everyone else, for that day will come as a shocking surprise to all. Keep a constant watch over your soul and pray for the courage and grace to prevail over these things that are destined to occur, that you will stand before the presence of the Son of Man with a clear conscience." I'd like for you to underline the phrase, "and that day will come upon you suddenly like a trap." In verse 34 in the Amplified Bible, the Classic Edition, it reads it this way: "But take heed to yourself and be on your guard, lest your hearts be overburdened, depressed, weighed down with the giddiness and headache and the nausea of self-indulgence, drunkenness, and worldly worries and cares pertaining to the business of this life, lest that day come upon you like a trap or a noose." Which brings me to my subject today: why study end-time prophecy? Many people like me have a natural curiosity about the future and what it holds. It is for that reason I enjoy in-depth studies of what is called end-time prophecies. Studying the prophecies of the end time offers insight and predictions that intrigue people who want to know what might happen in the future. But I recognize that not everyone is as fascinated by the study of end times, the prophecies of those events as I am. But if you don't mind, I'd like to share with you 5 reasons that I have found that people, they avoid studying end-time prophecies. Reason 1 has to do with the complexity and the symbolism that is found in end-time prophecy. If you read it, you will find that it's often filled with complex symbols, metaphors, imagery that can be challenging to interpret. And those intricate details and varying interpretations that go with different schools of theology can be overwhelming and confusing. The second reason that I found that a lot of people avoid end-time studies is there's extreme amount of the controversy and debate about how that end-time prophecies are to be understood. Different theological perspectives and interpretations of end-time prophecies lead to fierce debate and arguments that often divide. And some people might prefer to avoid the potential of conflict and disagreement over different views. Number 3, end-time prophecies tend to cause fear and anxiety among those who they don't understand how end-time events are to unfold. The dramatic and often apocalyptic imagery in the end-time prophecies for many are frightening, and thoughts of global catastrophes, judgments, and the unknown future can be unsettling and distressing for many. And number 4, there have been so many misinterpretations and speculations offered that it tends to cause people to shrug their shoulders and show very little interest. The proliferation of sensationalist and inaccurate predictions leads to skepticism and reluctance to engage on these topics. Who can forget the craze during the 1980s, especially with the 88 reasons why Jesus was to come back in 1988? And then there's the computer crisis of Y2K, and then the end of the world that was supposed to have happened in the year 2012. It had just caused so many people to shrug their shoulders and say whatever will be, will be. And fifth, most people tend to only focus on the present. Many people prefer to focus on living out their faith in the present, emphasizing practical aspects of spirituality in the daily life rather than being concerned about future predictions. They see studying the end-time prophecies as being less relevant to their immediate needs and concerns. As one pastor remarked to me while discussing some concerns of mine regarding false teachings on end-time prophecy, he asked, "Why does it matter?" Well, the reason it matters is because 1/3 of the Bible has to do with end-time events. And the reason it matters is that truth matters. And if truth doesn't matter, then nothing matters. The study of the end times encourages believers to live in a state of readiness and spiritual alertness. Jesus stated in Luke chapter 21, "Be careful that you never allow your hearts to grow cold. Be careful that you're not caught off guard, or your hearts will be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and the worries of this life, and that day will come upon you like a trap." You see, the study of end-time prophecies teaches us to remain vigilant and maintain a close relationship with God and live according to His principles, knowing that the end could come at any time. The knowledge of end-time events can motivate believers to share their faith more urgently and passionately. Understanding the finality of the end times and the eternal consequences can drive people to spread the gospel and to reach others with the message of salvation. Delving into end-time prophecies enhances a comprehensive understanding of the Bible. Studying the end-time prophecies connects the Old and the New Testaments, revealing how various prophecies and promises come together in God's redemptive plan for humanity. In doing so, we can see the wisdom and power of God on display. And it teaches us that God is indeed in control of human events, all human events, and He is in control of the events of our lives as well. Studying the end-time events can inspire believers to pursue righteousness and holiness, knowing that the ultimate judgment and rewards that lie ahead. And it serves as a moral compass, guiding us to live in a way that honors God and reflects His values. Studying the end-time prophecies keeps us alert to the biblical impact of world events. History shows that the formation and world dominance of Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Roman Empire was due to God raising them up as a punishment for Israel's rebellion. And here's another example. In the late 1880s, a small group of Jews wanted to reestablish the nation of Israel back into the land that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The problem was that the Ottoman Empire controlled the land and they controlled Jerusalem. Then World War I happened, and the Ottoman Empire was defeated and removed. But the overwhelming majority of the Jews were living comfortably and prospering in the nations of Europe. There was no incentive for them to leave their businesses, their homes, and their wealth to go to a desolate land that was at best a wilderness where they would be attacked by those that lived in the area. Then World War II came with Adolf Hitler and the Holocaust, and Jews realized that unless they had their own army and their own government and their own land, they would not be safe anywhere in the world. Subsequent Israel and Arab wars have only solidified the nation of Israel and placed all things that are part of the end time prophecies on stage so that we could see the unfolding plan of God in our generation. Studying the end time events keeps our focus on eternity and not be consumed with only temporary things. End time prophecy and the study of end time prophecy is not as complicated as a lot of people try to make it out to be. It is a matter of knowing where to begin and place the beginning at the beginning and start from there. At the beginning is to determine why does the prophecies exist in the first place. Simply put, the proper beginning of any study of end-time prophecies is to ask the 4 questions I'm about to share. Why does Daniel's 70 weeks exist in the first place? And to whom is the 70 weeks of Daniel to be applied? And what is God's purpose in issuing what we call Daniel's 70 weeks? And is the New Testament church involved with these 70 weeks of Daniel? By seeking the answer to these 4 questions, you will discover a very critical factor of end-time studies. And you will discover that the nation of Israel is the master key to all end-time prophecies. And I hope to show you why in our next lesson. Thank you for joining me today, and have a very blessed day. And if you will, click the subscribe button so that you won't miss a future lesson on a very important topic. God bless you. Have a great day.